Well, I think we wanted to show the audience, something of a young Jason and his mother. And, in the first film, his mother is the killer. And I think it was important to us to just give the audience a little glimpse of who Pamela Voorhees was. And just with a flashback, you can see a young Jason, you can see what happens to his mother, and that alone can really show you why he has become what he has become.
It's a great flashback sequence, and it's something that wasn't seen before in the first one. Because in the first one, you basically saw it through the eyes of the two parties that were fighting. And in this sense, you're seeing it through the eyes of the child that's witnessing it as well. And you're seeing how it affects that child, that abandonment thing.
What we see this time is, as it pans over, it shows young Jason is still alive. He hasn't drowned in the lake, and he's actually watching what happened, which they kind of recap in part 2, and only in the story form, but you actually get to see it. And you see, this rejected, sad young boy watch the only tie to reality be destroyed. That's his last line to reality, the person that loves him, the only other person that understands him, get cut. And so you see him literally fall into that void and become the monster that he is.
This kid was great. He would just sit there and he's shaking and he's all into it. It was cold that night as well, but he did a great job, like going up, and it was creepy seeing him picking his mother's head up in her locket and running off like a little animal. It kind of lets you know where the story, is going.
Well, there were people on the set that they weren't sure if he was wearing makeup. I mean, that's how good it was. When he walked out there, people were like, and you had to tell him that he's in his makeup. I mean, that's not what the kid looks like, but that's how good it was.
Back when we were in LA and we were designing everything, I was lucky enough to have Derek's life cast, and I was designing everything custom fit on Derek. And we were at a point when they hadn't cast anybody yet for the kid. And we didn't know if we were going to be, casting young Jason in LA or in Texas. So a couple weeks, like 2 weeks probably before we had to leave, I was kind of in a pinch, and I just got a generic head cast from someone that was around the age between 10 or 12. And Mitch Devane was working with me. So Mitch is an amazing sculptor. And I said, Mitch, you know what? This is what I'd love for you to do. We don't have this kid. So we needed to make something that's really generic. And Mitch knows how to do appliance makeups and how to sculpt things and make it the right way. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to make it exactly the right way because we didn't have an actor. But we could do some shortcuts here and there to make it fit generically on someone. And Mitch basically just looked at what I did with the adult and did a younger version of it. Pulled it back a bit and made it softer and made it, a little more sympathetic, and did an amazing job. And again, we did silicone appliances, and we made some generic teeth for him, for the young Jason as well. Then when we got to Texas, we did one day of like a test fitting just to make sure it's going to work out. And luckily it did.
Here we are, day 1 of the production in Austin, Texas, in the woods at Camp Crystal Lake. Well, I mean, when doing a Friday the 13th movie, trying to find a summer camp where the cabins are actually on a lake was the most important thing to us. And luckily, you can't see it from where I'm standing, but right over that ridge over there is beautiful Camp Crystal Lake right on the water. And when you guys see it, you'll understand why we're at this location. I think we're doing a lot of things in this movie. I mean, a lot of people don't even realize that know the franchise, that Jason really didn't show up until the last shot of the first movie and didn't put on the hockey mask until part 3. So we're kind of taking the best of 1, 2, and 3, putting it all into one movie, which is modern day, contemporary, and giving the audience a best of Friday the 13th and showing a little bit of how the mask came to be and where Jason really comes from.
Hi, I'm Brad Fuller, producer of Friday the 13th. Welcome to Camp Crystal Lake. You know what? I think that the opportunity to work with Jason Voorhees and actually be on set with the hockey mask was so exciting to all of us. We grew up with these films and we loved them growing up. And to be able to participate and actually make a Friday the 13th movie was an opportunity we could not pass up. Shooting in Austin is kind of like coming home. This is our 4th movie that we've shot here. And I don't think that Austin naturally lends itself to Camp Crystal Lake. But what we did is we went to a lot of different locations and kind of pieced together a way that we can make Crystal Lake work here in Austin. We love working here because the crews are amazing. We've worked with a lot of these people 4 or 5 movies in a row. And I think that working with people who we know and who know how passionate we are about these films elevates the level of the film.
Just fucking play along. I'm having a little fun, okay? So you just made all that shit up?
No, I didn't. When we do remakes, it's important to us that we give a nod to the original film. And so we like to have some scenes that the fans will recognize from the original Friday the 13th. And then we kind of add our spin to it. So some of the kills I think the viewers will recognize from the previous Friday the 13th films, but we've tried to up them a notch, try and make them cooler, more gory, more interesting. And we wanted to retain a little bit of the history of Jason Voorhees, but this is by no means an origin story. It just kind of, if you didn't see the films, it gives you the insight as to how Jason became Jason, but that's not what the movie's about. The movie's about a group of kids who come to the wrong place and get stuck in a horrible situation.
I think I contacted them, and I asked if they ever thought about doing something with Friday the 13th, and they said, "Well, funny enough, we got a couple of drafts in, nothing we particularly cared for, and we were right in front of the writer's strike. There was like still 3 weeks to go, and they said, well, we just hire 2 more guys, see what happens." And I remember all I said at that point was, well, good luck to them, because they're like 3, 4 studios, and Michael Bay has to like, and you guys have to like, and I have to like it. But just tell them whatever they do, use drugs in it, and find an underground for Jason to operate from. I like that idea because I don't think camps are particularly scary. So with that, that's all I really contributed at that point. They took off, and then a script came in just on time, I think the day before the writer's strike started. And everybody went and read it and decided to make the movie.
Wade is he's kind of this techie who's a little brighter than the rest of the guys, and he's completely enthralled with the whole the mystery of Camp Crystal Lake and the whole the stories of Jason and his mother, and he's the one that kind of gets to try to get the group into the whole background, and little does he know that it's coming.
We're in California, Los Angeles. In a rental space, I'm Scott Stoddard doing makeup effects for Friday the 13th and the kills in the Jason character. And as you can look around, there's a lot of stuff going on. Very short period of time. We have about a week left before we go out to Austin. Tim will be one of the guys going out to Austin here, Mr. Jarvis. No relation to Tommy. Tim's making some really cool. Explain what you're doing here.
And these are actually soft, squishy eyes, so they'll roll around and look real.
Yummy. The Jason for this film is basically I kind of remembered what I viewed as a child and watching these films, because I grew up with, and a lot of guys working on this film grew up with this character in this film. So basically, I kind of tried to remember what it was and then put it together in my mind and on paper and in clay, doing maquettes. And then I went back and revisited all the makeups and saw each element of certain makeups that I really liked and thought were really cool things. So once doing that, then I was able to rely on what's been established before, because we know that there's fans that don't want to see this character change. So it's kind of like just rethinking it a bit and enhancing it a bit more.
You know, the first time I had heard of any remaking of Friday the 13th, I remember going into talking to Brad in his office and saying, oh, it's a great idea, Friday the 13th, that's an amazing franchise. We went to the writers and said, what do you guys, you have an open palette, you guys know the franchise better than anyone, what do you think? And they came back and the first thing they pitched us was, what if we do this? What if we introduce a group of characters, 5 of them? We kill them all in the first 10 minutes of the film. Audience won't even know what to expect. Nobody's safe. It's 10 minutes into the movie, everybody's dead. Then you start over again. Then the title comes up. You hear that, you're like, go write a movie.
The idea was to start the movie off where you believe this is the movie. You know, everybody does kind of, you could do a short prologue, but we wanted to do a long prologue. And then once everybody dies, you feel like you don't know what's going to happen in this movie. So we wanted the roller coaster started, but instead of clacking up the track, the bottom just fell out. And there was just an incredible rush.
We wanted to start off with such a bang that after the bang, you could take your time and set up the characters that were going to be in this movie.
The first act is what got everybody's attention right from the beginning, including mine, of course. And I knew, even though everybody says this can't be longer than 12 minutes, that it will never happen. Because if you try to do all this stuff too fast, people will know that everybody's just cannon fodder. You have to still set up those characters as if they will be there for the rest of the movie. And the moment people realize that they won't be, you will really surprise.
I thought it was very interesting that they started with the fake hero cast. You've got these individuals that you think are going to be the ones to make it, and then they get wiped out in the first 15, 20 minutes of the film, and the audience is left to wonder what next. You know, where is it going to go from here?
It's that whole misdirection. I think that's great.
There are 2 separate groups of characters in this film, and the first group, they all die basically by page 15. So the basic goal was that they only shot for basically a week on the film, so 4 of those 5 we needed to kill basically the first week, because then they all go home. You know, they're not in the rest of the movie. So it was a big challenge for us, like first week of the movie, all right, we're killing 4 people, 1 a day. So it was really hard.
Yeah, I was surprised at how quickly I died, yeah.
It was surprising because they didn't let the script out before we got the job. Once our deals were closed and they let the script out. So none of us had any idea who was getting killed, how long we were in the film for, or any of that.
When I watch a slasher, like which pretty girl's gonna survive at the end? You don't know this. You don't. All the bets are off.
Within 10 to 15 minutes, everybody's dead, and then you're going to meet a whole new group of characters, and a lot of them die too.
I couldn't make it through Chainsaw Massacre for 25, 30 minutes. This film, I would never even see me on camera. That's how long I could watch this film.
Watching Friday the 13th movies, especially when you start watching the old ones, you're like, okay, and now this is where this is supposed to jump out, but they're trying to pull me over there, and I know it's going to come from here. But this one, it's like, okay, they're going to do that, you're going to go, and it's going to come from back here and get you, and you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
That first sequence is the most action-packed, most intense sequence that's ever been in a Friday the 13th movie. If when we're watching that movie, if people don't clap at the end of that sequence, then we haven't done our jobs.
One of the favorite kills in the Friday the 13th movies is the kill where Jason takes someone, puts him in a sleeping bag, and starts banging it against a tree. So we thought that we would take that one step further and take a really hot girl and put her in a sleeping bag and burn her.
6, 5, 4, 3. There are many stages of me being cooked. I've done some of those already, but tonight was just me falling out of the bag, and then Whitney comes and she discovers my dead body, and I have my one last breath, and then she tears off this piece of my skin, just comes out in her hands, and that's when she knows it's pretty much over at that point, I guess, so she leaves, but, you know.
Action!
I'm putting zinc powder on Derek. We're going to start prepping his suit here. Puts on like a nice forward vest. Ah, yes. Zinc powder makes the glue stick a little bit better. He tends to sweat a little bit. He's running around. Me and Jason killing people. So we need to make sure that it can anchor down. The shirt is actually going to conform to his chest. You're going to read all the sternum, the rib cage, you know, him breathing, stuff like that. You know, even this going in, like a bit of like a six pack, a little bit of his ribs in here or the bottom of his rib cage. You'll read all that through the wardrobe. It's going to be wet, stuck down.
Jared Padalecki was the first person that we cast in the film. And once we got him, you were able to know how big Jason could be, because Jared's 6'4", and he's imposing. So we needed, you needed a Jason who had to be bigger than 6'4".
I'm always worried when I'm auditioning for something that they're gonna go, "You're too big," because I'm 6'4" and I'm 220, and usually the actors and actresses are 5'8", 5'10". And so I was like, you know what, I've lost too many roles because I'm too big of a guy. But they were saying they really liked it because, they don't want somebody that's 5'6", 140 pounds to be getting there with Jason and going, hiya. So they were like, you know what, even though obviously you can't beat up Jason no matter how big or how badass you are. Not like I'm big or badass, but no one messes with Jason. But it's more believable since I'm a big guy that maybe I could get a shot or two in.
I'm really, really excited. A lot of thinking, a lot of planning. I'm excited to execute it. I feel like the BMX racer in the front gates and waiting for the whistle to blow and the gate to drop.
Push you back a bit. Okay, down a little bit.
Yeah, it's so wild diving into this the first night. Hi, welcome to the show. Time to kill somebody. I think you kind of ease into it.
Nope, out of the gate.
Today we shot some of the interior of the cabin of Trent's father, whom is wealthy, and the rest of us don't really like him, but we like the idea of going on a fun trip to an awesome house.
We're shooting in my character's boyfriend's, cabin. He calls it a little cabin, but you get here and it's actually this huge, sprawling house on the lake that's so gorgeous. And there's a hot tub in the back and a rope swing out to the water. So it's not just a little cabin. It's actually a truly gorgeous house.
Cabin, mansion.
It's supposed to be exterior cabin, interior cabin, but it's quite a place. It's nowhere near the sort of what I pictured when I was like, oh, a cabin in the woods. I mean, it's a massive ranch home, you know what I mean? It's 2-story and it's gorgeous and decked out and a lot of land and property with a nice little lake running back there. I don't know if y'all can see it, and it's just been a lot of fun.
It's so wild when I started off. I mean, I'm more of a, I bounce between acting and stunts. And early on, dodging the face. Early on in the beginning, I was always told, oh, you need to decide. Either you're an actor or you're a stuntman. You can't do both. And it's just, I have so much fun bouncing back and forth. And I'm very, very fortunate to make a name doing both now. And especially when something like this comes up where you kind of need both. And I'm so thankful and blown away to have the opportunity to play the part.
We've done reshoots on every one of our films. Usually, we've been very fortunate that our reshoots are a day or two, and that was the case here on this film. You know, it's just hard when you're making a movie, and then when you see it in its entirety, there are places that just don't work, and you have to go back and fix them.
Oh, hey. How you doing? So this is the scene that we're shooting over here right now as to how Jason gets his infamous hockey mask. And Donnie kind of gets it. So basically, Donnie goes into the barn, go have a little bit of fun, thinks he's by himself, has this item on a shelf, probably a little possession of his that means nothing to him, but means everything to Jason. Jason's willing to lose Donnie's head over it. So, here now we'll enjoy the scene of Jason getting his mask.
So you guys just like poke little hairs through there, or?
Yeah, they're actually longer hairs. Punch them in one at a time.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and then like every one is done with a needle, and they press it all the way in.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Kyle Davis, and we're on the set of Friday the 13th, and this is Donnie, aka me, my cut off head. He looks pretty awesome though. We kind of resemble each other. They did an amazing job on the facial hair, huh? Pretty sexy, actually, now that I look at it. I think they made me look better on this thing, though, because I look like shit usually. But makeup did the hair, so I look all fancy schmancy now. Pretty excited about it. Oh, you all right, Kyle? Good, good.
So what you're going to see in the featured film is the reshot scene, and then when you look in the deleted scenes, you can see the original ending that we shot.
With a three-dimensional, you can take a shot from a couple different angles, have people that are involved in the creative process take a look at it and decide they like a little of this, a little of that. You can move it around a little easier when it's a smaller scale than a giant sculpture as well. And then once we get these done, these are all up here, kind of the same thing. This is another look. We found some stuff we liked about it, some stuff we didn't. And then his headpiece. This is what we call a cowl. And we can reuse this piece again and again. We'll make a few of them so we have some backups. And this is Derek's face here, again on a hard, rigid form. And this piece will go on first, and it gets glued down and attached after it's painted, and the hair pieces are on it. It gets attached over the top of the torso.
We're at Bastrop,
Texas, and
just
we are
outside of Austin.
Yeah. Learning
Texas.
to wakeboard.
Good job. Oh, sick.
Nice,
Every
Billy.
ride's getting better. Every ride.
Every ride. The pro, Billy Garcia. Yeah, Billy.
Best in the biz right there, Gator.
Crazy good.
Gator boards,
Crazy
you know what I'm
good. One more go.
Yeah, go for it, you got it.
That move she just did was a surface 180, so she actually switched the board 180 degrees and rode with her other foot forward. So, and that was like only her second try, and she stuck it.
Yeah, we saw it on camera the first try. Oh, I felt it, that's for sure.
Wakeboarding, topless. Could be worse, you know what I mean? Could be a worse day.
In this shot, we're shooting from this camera boat and this camera boat. And Marcus, what we'll do is we'll take this all the way through, and Willa, instead of doing a stunt fall, she'll just let go of the ropes and be in the water, and we can concentrate then on that boat as the safety boat comes around to pick her up, because she'll still have the things on her leg.
I'm coming to get ya!
I wakeboard, and he just comes out for moral support every day,
Yeah.
which is rad.
Well, I try to drive the boat, and I'm horrible.
He's horrible.
As I can tell because you're yelling at me from the water.
Yeah, you can see
saying
me
how
screaming
bad
at him. You suck! And when I did it, I blamed it on him.
It's all because of the driving, I think. That was good driving, that's why.
What? I'm horrible driving!
Oh, jeez.
I think I nosedived at the end!
This one right here started wakeboarding how many days ago? Like 6 days ago?
Yeah, and we do it a little bit every day.
She's jumping already. It's like,
Little baby jumps, but
she's
they're
awesome.
jumps.
So
They're jumps.
cool.
Kind of excited about learning a new skill. So I've kind of been like, you know, on the board like a little bit every day for about 6 days now.
And how comfortable are you now?
Getting there.
Getting there.
Yeah, it's starting to be fun. Beginning not so fun. Yeah. I have a famous move called the face plant.
You patented that one?
Oh yeah.
She's perfected it.
I perfected the face plant.
She got that one down.
Yeah, I think the first couple of days were just a little rough because of the pressure, but
Woo, there's a lot of pressure.
the last 2 days have been awesome. She really clicked for her. She's been killing it.
Well, with this incarnation of Jason, we're basically trying to get back to the basics and make him an actual guy again, so you care about who the guy is, rather than just an imposing figure that moves slowly and is emotionless. So trying to understand the character and where he comes from, and yeah, I'm really, as a fan, I'm super excited, because in my opinion, it's what I want to see as a fan, because kind of the script is the best parts of part 2 and part 4 put together, and those were my favorites. So when I read it, I was super excited, going, I have to do this. This is so amazing.
So originally my death was that when I felt the wakeboard and Nolan got the arrow, that I just sort of died of fear because I saw Jason on the shore and would not go ashore, and eventually I just, last bubble and I would drown. Now, I think Jason's gone, I go to the pier and it's like out of nowhere, the machete just comes straight through the dock through my head, which is so nasty. And then, even worse, he pulls the thing up and my head hits the dock and my body falls in the water. It's just nasty.
I get an arrow. It's a quick
You're
death.
so not cool.
It's a quick death.
It's all right.
I'm excited. Yeah, arrow. Come on,
Arrow,
Archer.
yeah.
You didn't like arrows.
Maybe you can
That's good.
jump off of the boat
Yeah,
too.
sure.
what we do is 50% of the process. He takes it the other 50%, or anybody we do it on takes the other 50% of the way and brings it to life.
Oh, yeah,
Otherwise, it's a bunch of rubber with paint or silicone or whatever. It's a dead object. It's only as good as the person that wears it and makes it come to life.
It's really a giant team effort, and we all just have our own positions we cover, or our own bases.
Yeah, hopefully when it all comes out, you know, we
Yeah,
can
yeah.
say we're all Jason.
Yeah, totally. We were talking yesterday about Greek mask work, or how it parallels, where it's not like, once again, not just a guy in a suit. It's two separate entities, where it's the mask and the person, and depending on who you put in there, it's going to be different, and you don't know what's going to, meld or what's going to come out of the two coming together until it actually happens, until the two combine. So you could have like a person like the same, like say talent level as myself, or dude who does the same thing. If you put this stuff on them, you'll get something totally different. It depends upon, what each person brings to it.
We would take a body cast of Derek. So we had a form to work off of because everything is form fitting to him as far as the chest and back and shoulders and part of the deltoids are all part of one suit that is form fitting on him. So we take a body cast of him first. Then we take a head cast of him. But before the head cast, Chris had taken a dental impression of him and we had designed teeth for him. So Chris made these really nice teeth and they fit in, and then we do his life cast with the teeth on. Because when he's wearing his makeup, he's gonna have these teeth in, and it's gonna distort his mouth a bit. So all the appliances are gonna be custom fit to his face. This is my friend Chris Gallagher, and also my second on the show, doing makeup.
How you doing?
An amazing artist, and I'm very, very lucky to have him here, as we all are. So Chris, you wanna describe what you're doing right now?
Right now, I'm making appliances for Jason's makeup.
Ah.
This is his upper lip. I'm getting ready to demold it. This is a silicone material. Got a lot of movement.
Makes it nice and flexible and squishy.
Yep.
I was telling everybody before about some of the teeth that you made for Jason. We were going over all of his pieces. Do you have some teeth that you'd like to show?
Actually, yeah.
What does his teeth look like?
You want to grab?
Yeah, which ones are they? Here we go.
Jason's teeth, and the way these are designed is his lip actually can tuck behind the gum line so that we can have that kind of, where it pushes the lip up. And this side juts out to push his jaw out. Give it kind of an unnatural bite, but yet still be able to function. So.
Kind of that cool bulldog underbite. A little angry. Yeah, so those are nice. They're custom fit. They'll fit in Derek's mouth pretty easily. And again, we only have to have those in his head when we're doing the makeup, which would be the silicone makeup that Chris is pulling all these pieces out of these molds here.
Just so all the fans know, they can be completely rest assured that the elements from the Friday the 13th series that they love, the abundance of sex, the nudity, they're all there.
I mean, let's face it. These movies are exploitation films when they first started. It's about sex.
Fans are gonna see a little hanky-panky in this movie, for sure.
This movie is a first for us in terms of nudity. We've never had any nudity in any of our films. And after this experience, I never want to have nudity in any of our films again. That became the hardest part of the casting process, as ridiculous as it is to say. It was so hard to find good actresses who were willing to do the nudity in this film.
Impressed?
Very.
Impressed.
What?
Oh, impressed. I thought so. Oops.
Also, we had a cowl that he'd wear every day, and the days that he wore the hockey mask or the sack on his head, he didn't have to wear the full face makeup. He had a partial appliance over his eye. So with that, we had a foam latex cowl. It's called a cowl, like a head and shoulder and neck piece. The torso piece, which is foam latex, which is glued down to him as well. Then in addition to that, if we go into the full face makeup application for that day where we see his face, it's it's a 4-piece silicone appliance. And we go with silicone because it's real translucent like skin. And there's parts of Derek's face that are still showed. You know, we still want to read the tones of his skin, and silicone is really nice and translucent, reflects light real well. We knew we were going to shoot in daylight, so we wanted to have something that was really alive. So that would be put on last. And then the hair pieces are put on afterwards, and he's dressed up and good to go. So that's usually about a 3.5 hour makeup process to get him in his full garb. His regular days that he gets into, whether he's wearing the burlap sack or he's wearing his hockey mask, is usually about an hour and a half. We've cut it down pretty short. It's a good routine between Chris and I, getting the makeup on him. You know, we work, good teamwork, bouncing back and forth.
And I think Scott was hired before I was. That goes without saying. We love Scott, and he does fantastic work. Again, he is the audience as well, which always helps. Again, like Derek, one of those guys where you get to meet him, you say, oh, blood and gore is his business, But besides that, he's really an artist. He's a sculptor, he's a painter, which is all important to do three-dimensional designs such as this. I hope, but I'm not sure, that the extended version will have the mask fly off Jason, which is a scene I was very much pushing through. I felt you can show the mask in his death, like they did in Halloween, like they did with Darth Vader, and remind yourself that this guy is real, but also by doing so, remind yourself why he went off course a little bit.
Everything that we've shot with him without the mask, we've also shot with the mask. And I would be lying if I didn't say that there's a concern that does humanize him maybe too much. And I don't know if audiences are going to want to do that. So we're going to have to see how the movie is ultimately cut. I think when we went into this movie, we were never going to show his face. But then when we saw how fantastic that makeup is, and how scary that scene can be when you actually see his face, we decided to go for it. And again, that was just entirely Scott's creation of that mask. Well, it's a mask. Scott created that mask, and we love it.
I'm really excited to see, again, people's reactions or opinions to Jason, to his face. I know that there's a scene, if we do keep it in, and it's in the movie, it plays a lot. It's a good collaborative thing between myself and my crew here, and Tim and Chris, and everyone that worked on getting to that point of making Jason's look happen, and Derek taking it and bringing it to life. And if it get the reaction that we need to get from it, I think it's great, because I know there was a lot of talk about we shouldn't really see him that much, and we said okay, and we knew from the get-go that we weren't going to show too much of his face, because they wanted to keep it covered. They wanted to keep it kind of ambiguous and not really tell. But I think it's a good key point in the film to see that emotion on his face. And I'm really excited to see that, and see that cut in, and see what he looks like.
Get your hair out of your face, play towards camera, extend your hand. Bam!
Hey, Mark. Ready, and action. Bang! Twist!
Convulsions. Not too big, just small ones. Small ones. And Jason?
We're in the back. Thank you guys.
Yes, the cake. Fire on your feet, Derek. And ready. Action. 2, 3, 4.
Well, when I was looking for my gun, I really lost it, and I was searching for it for a while, and I'm telling you, I was grabbing some stuff that I don't know what it was. It felt just like worms and snakes and scary shit.
Hey, greetings from day 32 on Friday the 13th. Behind me right here is a barn where we're shooting a set piece. But I got something very special for you tonight. I'm going to take you to a location where the big set piece at the end of the night is. We're going to take a look at it now. You can see the outskirts of it here. And as we get closer, I'll show you what it is. So it's 1:30 in the morning, and we're about to shoot a wicked sequence. And right behind me here, this is, well, you can't really tell what it is. It's a big tire. I don't know if this can give it away, but this is a huge bus, actually, that we've placed here. And we've turned it on its side, and there's going to be a huge fight between Jason and Clay here in this bus. Let's go inside. All right, so we've killed people in a lot of great places, but for me, this is my favorite location that we've ever really had a horrible death scene. And what happens in this is the interior of a school bus. So on the ground here are all the windows, right here are the windows, and it goes all the way back, and the action takes place on 2 levels for this scene. Some of the action takes place here, which is the interior of the bus, and then towards the very front of it, which we can't even really get to, the action moves to the top of the bus, which is actually the side of the bus. And so it's a double-leveled action sequence taking place inside and on top of a bus, and it has Jason with a huge machete, and he's beating the crap out of Clay.
Ready and action.
Jason!
Do the mask. Good. And got it. Good.
Let's do him drowning before the mask is off, okay?
All right. All right. The insert wasn't good enough?
White card coming?
Yeah, it is coming. I see it making its way.
Kind of dark.
They're rolling? Yeah, they're rolling. And action, Jared.
I think we're going to do a sequel. We have to close the deal with some writers to go ahead and write it. We're leaving now to go do Nightmare on Elm Street, so it's not going to happen. It's not imminent. We have to, we want to make that film. But after Nightmare on Elm Street, I'm hopeful that we get to go back to Crystal Lake.